Hey everyone. So this video is going to be a bit different than my other videos because it's just going to be a general kind of talk about how I view things, like how I approach life and how I see the world. So yeah, the title of this video is probably going to be like, is the dark web moral, on the morality of the dark web. But yeah, essentially I've been making videos for like a year now, and admittedly it's pretty inconsistent because I had other responsibilities. I had like schoolwork and other stuff I was working on. But yeah, just like reflecting on the past year for YouTube mainly. Um, I've noticed like obviously a lot of my content is around OPSEC and the dark web and all of that stuff, with a bit of like CTFs or hacking here and there. Like stuff like reverse engineering or whatever. What I've kind of been thinking about or asking myself about is like, is teaching stuff like this related to privacy or the dark web or anything like that? Like, is it moral? Is it something that I should be teaching? Is it something that I should not be teaching? And that's kind of the main topic I want to cover in this. So yeah, as you can imagine, like when if I'm teaching stuff about how to stay private and how to stay anonymous, there can be a lot of bad that comes from that. Um, like it could be used for, let's say, uh, like buying drugs online, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably do. Also on the more like extreme end of things, like people who watch like illegal forms of pornography, which I can assure you that's probably a very bad thing to be doing. So there's all sorts of like moral questions about like is the dark web like morally right, because there are people using it for bad. But then on the other hand, it's also a tool for good because if you restrict everything, if you ban off certain topics that shouldn't be discussed, if you ban journalists from saying what they need to say without fear of persecution, it can lead to a lot of problems, so to say. Mainly just becoming an authoritarian hellhole. That's like the main worry, which we're already headed towards in this day and age. Like our kind of, even though freedom of speech is like a romanticized idea, the idea that like everyone should be able to say what they want, but it obviously doesn't work out in nature. But one of the things about Tor and one of the things about privacy is it enables that to a certain extent. Anywhere, like if you're in China or if you're in America, like you can say what you want without anybody noticing, and I think that's very valuable. Like those are the kind of um, those are like the goals or the objectives we should be striving towards, is to kind of create a safe haven for people to express who they really are without fear of persecution. Even though, yeah, it does come with all of the risks. Uh, you know, Stuff like, illegal porn or like, financing people's drug addictions pretty much. Which actually, that leads me to my next point on why, like, I'm so for this dark web tour stuff, is because the government is doing the exact same thing. All right, except it's not happening on the dark web; it's happening in real life. Let's say for things like, you know, the pharmaceutical industry per se. Like, do you really think everyone in the pharma is selling drugs that help you? Do you really think that depression is the result of of like a chemical imbalance, or the serotonin theory where like, oh, you have too low levels of serotonin, so that must mean you must take mind altering drugs for the rest of your life, which actually does like a lot of harm to you, and that's somehow meant to fix depression. When in fact, I think depression is a spiritual issue. Um, if you look around you today, like no wonder everyone's depressed. We're like we're living in unnatural times where we're not surrounded by the tribe. Like your best friend is your phone. You carry that wherever you go. We don't even talk to people the same way anymore. We just talk through um, we just talk through Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever. So these are very like you know not normal things to be doing. So no wonder we're depressed. And actually, if you work on like fixing the root cause, such as a lack of purpose or a lack of you know there's so many different factors to it. I can't say one thing is like the solution, but it's definitely not serotonin. Uh, it's not a problem with serotonin at all. So you don't need to be taking pills for that. The reason why they sell you pills is to make a profit. Um, like it's a gazillion-dollar industry, the whole pharmaceutical industry, and you know like it's just insane. Like why are they the ones who are allowed to do it, but a regular guy across the street can't start up his own pharmacy? And they always say, oh yeah, it's because like they're not vetted or whatever. But I don't trust any of the people who are qualified to be vetting. Most doctors hand out prescription pills like candy, and it doesn't fix the root issue. So they're no different to the drug dealer that you find across the street. And it's pretty terrible. Like you can be a kid and have problems focusing in class, and then they literally hand you meth to take, which is like Ritalin or amphetamines or whatever, or even Desoxyene. I heard is used for narcolepsy, but which is methamphetamine pretty much. But yeah, it's pretty insane once you peel back like the layers to all of this. More examples. Let's say McDonald's. That's like the food isn't even real food. It's just made in like a laboratory. Most of the ingredients. Like you're telling me, like, is that even real food? And they sell it to children as well. It's pretty evil, if you ask me. But yeah, it's insane. So like my kind of ethos towards life in general is just an absolute rebellion against like all of these kind of systems that are in place, that are just used to like monetize your suffering essentially. That's exactly what they're doing. Um, so I already gave you examples on the pharma industry, but stuff like you know uh, like pornography is completely legal, and I wonder why that's not banned, because like you can imagine like the amount of 10-year-olds or 11-year-olds that are getting spiritually molested by that. And I find it weird that like all of the companies are owned by a single company, and the CEO of that company is like a Jewish rabbi or something. Like, isn't that against the religion? Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's like insane to me, honestly, because once you kind of analyze all of like these different institutional kind of programs, it's the same trend of where your suffering is monetized. You are the one that is shamed and controlled and gaslit and fed all of this nonsense. And if you go against it, you're the one that's like a schizophrenic conspiracy theorist. You're the one who's mentally insane, and you need to be like put in an asylum on pills or whatever. And yeah, that's like I'm just totally against all of that stuff. But yeah, I guess the general advice I'd give to someone who's watching this video is just to critically think about like all of the information you're being fed, especially by, authority figures, because there's a lot of bad people in power. You can't trust your, you know, like your therapist, your doctor, your teacher, whatever. Like whatever, uh, whatever the authority is telling you to do, just constantly analyze where does this idea come from, because it's not coming from somewhere good. That's all I can say. But yeah, that's just a small rant. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more of this, leave a comment down below, and also join my school. I'll have the link in the description below. Thanks.